This organization is Braveheart Children in Need, and it provides services for kids in foster care. The first interaction is a backpack that's given to children when they're picked up for foster care, with some very needed items for life and some comfort items as well. Today is the annual Braveheart Luncheon, which is a fundraiser and to help Braveheart in its mission, and in addition to allow the public to know exactly what we do.
My husband and I started Braveheart Children in Need because we saw the need for children coming into foster care. So many times they come in with absolutely nothing to their name, and we wanted to give them some things to provide hope, to provide comfort, and to instill in them that there is a future that will be good for them.
Give us an idea about what is in the backpacks and the significance of those backpacks.
Because they come into the foster home so many times without anything, our backpacks include basic school supplies, maybe a toy or two, but then a book, something that they can focus on. It will have a blanket for comfort and a stuffed animal. You know, it's amazing. No matter what age, it seems like everybody finds comfort in a stuffed animal.
Braveheart really helps us in so many ways. They serve our children and they also serve our staff by providing for those children's emergency needs and their transition needs as they're coming in or out of foster care. And the way that that helps our staff is that it supports their need to support the children they work with.
It is so exciting to see all of you here today. Not only to see all of you here, but for the reason you're here, for your support and your thanks, your support for the children of Louisiana who are in the foster care system. And we all know by supporting Braveheart, we're supporting Louisiana's children for a brighter tomorrow and a ray of hope. My name is John Weibel, and it is a privilege and an honor to welcome all of you to the third annual now Fall Luncheon for Braveheart Children of Louisiana. Give yourselves a big round for being here, for filling this incredible room. Thank you.
What kind of root system do you have? The earliest redwoods showed up on Earth shortly after the dinosaurs. They were before flowers, they were before birds, spiders, and of course humans. Redwoods have been around for about 240 million years. In California, we know that they are at least 20 million years. You compare that to 200,000 years for modern human. The sequoia redwood trees in California are some of the biggest in the world. One particular tree has been named the General Sherman. It is noted as the largest known living single-stem tree on Earth. It is 275 feet tall. Do you know something? That's like 24 to 26 stories high, 25 feet in diameter, and approximately 2,500 years old. There is no taproot to anchor them to the ground. Their roots are relatively shallow. They go down approximately 6 to 12 feet. And the amazing thing is they very rarely fall over. They can withstand strong winds, earthquakes, prolonged flooding, even fire. You question, how can something up to 500 tons remain standing with roots that only go down about 10 feet? Well, the fact is, their root system intertwines with other redwood trees, and the trees actually hold each other up. They form tribes or communities. Their root system is like an army of men who have their arms interlocked, and they're standing and supporting each other. They're preventing the adversaries of life from knocking them down. And they're making sure that there are plenty of nutrients for new growth. Brave Heart Children is a lot like the redwood tree in that we form a community around the children of abuse and neglect. As a founding member, I have seen growth and I have heard personal testimonies that are phenomenal. Our mission is to provide comfort, to instill hope for children and youth as they transition into or out of foster care. Through the community of Brave Heart, we have reached children throughout Louisiana with our backpack program, our Life Book program, and our Christmas program. It's our goal that through our support, through your support, we can help these children during their most traumatic times. We can help them to become healthy members of our community as they grow into adulthood. In 2018, the Department of Children and Family Services answered 52,867 calls of child abuse or neglect. There were 3,775 families served in family services, and there were 7,483 children served in foster care. Brave Heart has been a small part of serving these children by giving approximately 1,000 backpacks, 1,000 life books, and then thousands of Christmas gifts for children in the foster care. Again, it's our goal to provide comfort and to instill hope for children and youth transitioning in or out of foster care. Thank you for your support today and throughout the year of Brave Heart Children in Need. Thank you.
Thank you for asking me to be here today for something so important. I have known about Brave Heart from the time Dee placed a call to me years ago. I will never forget it. You don't even know this story. I was sitting at my cubicle. I think I was pregnant, or if not, I was back at work feeling all those feelings after having a baby and being in a studio and feeling like I was in the wrong place because I had a baby at home. And you called me and told me about Brave Heart. And I remember thinking, wow, what an idea. What a person to think of creating a group that would help a child who, is in such a crisis, such a transition, and probably couldn't even sleep until you got it underway. And I also remember thinking, Braveheart, perfect name, because it gives them some bravery to know that someone cares, but it's brave of you. It's brave of all of you who are involved to face it, let it into your heart, because some of us, sometimes we feel like let's just go about our own lives and live our own lives and not worry about other things. So it's brave to do this. I mean, I don't think any of us can imagine, unless you've been there, Wanda. I don't think any of us can imagine having your only stability taken from you when you're a child. When you're a child, your stability is everything. So that's why when Dee first told me the story about that 4-year-old girl, which I never forgot, remember, storytelling is king. If you want someone to believe you, remember something, tell them a story. It's just, I can't imagine that. And so I believe that what Braveheart does is offer them some sort of connection, some sort of feeling in those moments, whether it's a Christmas moment or a backpack moment or a journal moment, that they feel like someone somewhere thought of them in this moment, that it does make a difference, that it can make it. It may be something they look back on their life one day and say, at least I got that out and wrote it down, and thank goodness that that was there. And so I believe that that connection is one thing that you offer. And when you support Braveheart, we all get to be a part of that. The other thing is going back to, everything that we do around children, not just what we say to them, but everything we do tells them something about themselves. When we've all been guilty of this too, especially, our generation, we pick up those phones and the kids are running around and you're looking at your phone when your kid is with you. I think that what we're telling them when we do that is that you're not as important as what I'm looking at right now. When a parent shows up to every game that their kids are playing, you're telling them you are important to me. So everything we do around a child tells them something about themselves. So that connection, those things they get from Braveheart, whether they ever see you, whether you ever touch their hand, you've given them something that tells them something about themselves. Braveheart is saying, look, these kids need this. We need your support. They're just asking for us to all continue to support this incredible organization. And so I'm really honored that you would ask me here today for that. And so when you get to the point in the program, which is really not my gig, but for the envelope, remember that you're offering connection and you're just doing what a friend, this group of people, is asking you to be a part of it, and we can all grow it. The more we all get involved, if we all do something extra beyond today for Braveheart, with Braveheart, this room, the size of it could double the next time we do this. So I hope that happens. And I thank you all for having me, sincerely. And thank you, Sharon. What a feisty friend. Love you all. Thanks.
I'm so glad to see everyone here today. When you partner with Braveheart, you're really also partnering with the Department of Children and Family Services. Every day in the department, we are tasked with caring for the children that we're responsible for. We have to look out for their safety, their well-being, their needs. And then we also have some other focuses within the department, and one of those is to care for the families that we work with. We want those families to thrive and to do well together. We want children to be able to go back home to their families. And then third, we also have to focus on our staff. I was an investigator and then a case manager in foster care for years, and then eventually moved to our state office where I am now. And in state office especially, it's such a focus for us to make sure that our staff are doing well, that they have the support that they need, because you know what? Their job is hard. It's a really hard job. And what we love so much about Braveheart is that they focus on all of those things with us. They take care of our children's needs when they're in an emergency situation or in a transition period. But not only that, the services that they provide, the supports that they provide also helps our staff who have a really hard job and they're out there with these kids. And it helps them to have something to give these kids, to have something to give them in some of their darkest hours. So we really appreciate that partnership with Braveheart. So in all that Braveheart does, we feel like it touches so many of the things that we need and do. From our perspective, from a DCFS perspective, and a caseworker, because I was there, when you are removing a child or trying to find a placement for a child, oftentimes those situations, those are not fun situations for a child to be sitting, waiting, in all the trauma that they've just been through. So it was very helpful for Braveheart to step up and say, you know what, we'll give you a bear, and we'll give you a blanket to give that child while they're waiting, when they've just been possibly removed from their home. We'll also give you some items to just meet emergency need. Maybe they need a toothbrush, a hairbrush, things like that. The caseworkers, when they're in that situation, often they don't have time to run to the store. I mean, these are emergencies, right? They don't have time to run to the store to get some of these things. So those backpacks provide items that a child can use and need, but also comfort items, which is one of the most important things. We also know that these children are going into situations that they might not know. They're being placed in a foster home if we can't find relatives or family. They're being placed with people that sometimes they've never met. So to have something of their own that they got before they went, to have a blanket, to have a bear, to hold on to that means a lot to them. It's a transition item, that's what we call them. And it gives them something to call their own while they're in an unknown situation. And I really believe that these gestures that Braveheart partners with us on, the backpacks, the life books, the Christmas, I believe that those go so far beyond what we see and know. And I think that there would be many stories if everybody could come and talk about how Braveheart has intervened in the life of a child. One other thing that I wanted to say today that we're really excited about is a new partnership with Braveheart. And this year, we really spent a lot of time working with the board and working with the organization to talk through what are the department's needs to serve our children. And one of the things that we really started to look at was our youth in foster care and those exiting care. And I want to tell y'all just a few things about youth who leave care. So last year, we had 151 youth in this state that aged out of foster care. 151. Some of them have support systems built when they age out, but some of them don't. And we all remember how hard it was to be 18, right? So nationally, this is how those numbers look. 1 in 4 of youth that age out of foster care will be homeless. 71% of girls that age out of foster care will be pregnant within 2 years. And many times that's with no support system. Under 3% will earn a college degree by the age of 25. So see, in this population of our youth in foster care, there's also a great need to be met. A really great need for support and for partnership. So Braveheart really opened up their heart and their mind to think through how we could partner in this way. Because not only are they going to support those transitioning into foster care, but they want to support those transitioning out of foster care. So we're very excited about that. This year, the Christmas program will be open to our young adults in our extended foster care program. So those are young adults who have aged out of foster care, and then they enter an extended program from the age of 18 to 21. Those young adults in our extended foster care are the ones that truly are by themselves. And we are continuing to build a support around them so that when they leave, they will have support. But for them to get Christmas is a huge thing because they don't have that. They don't have anybody they're connected to that can do that for them. Another thing is that they have partnered with us, and this was not the first year to do it, but it's something that will continue to give us jump drives for our youth who are exiting care. And I know that seems like, why would you need that? But our youth, when they're leaving care, see, they don't really have all of their documents, their birth certificate, their social security card. Those are things that we give them when they leave care, and we want to make sure they have. But for an 18-year-old to keep up with a lot of papers, especially when sometimes they might be moving a lot, this was a huge thing. That way we can put all their documents on this jump drive. It's something they can keep with them and have long term. And we hear that from many of our youth that they've lost their paper documents and they come back to us. So we're very excited about that. And then we also are going to start thinking through what we can do to help foster some financial stability for youth leaving care. We haven't quite designed what we'll be doing with that yet, but we're very excited about the possibilities and how we can educate youth to be more financially stable and able to be on their own. So again, we just truly, from the department, we thank Braveheart for your partnership. It means so much to us, to the children and families we serve, and I know it also means so much to our staff. So thank you.
This is Dr. John E. Weibel.
Sounds official.
It sounds official, so I call him John, okay? John has been with Braveheart for 3 years. He graciously has served as our executive director. For the first 2 years, we actually tried to pay him. For the third year, he has worked with no pay. I mean, you can't beat that, can you? However, another organization has come along that has said, hey, we'll pay you. So effective in December 31st, John will be going to a new position. But we want him to know how much we appreciate your service with Braveheart as our executive director. Thank you, John.
When you find purpose, it's not work. When you wake up every morning and you give thanks and you realize your purpose and your calling, it's pretty easy to do. It's pretty easy. We all have a purpose and we all have a calling, every one of us. It's the thing I teach my 3 children. They're 29, 21, and 16. And hopefully they'll pass on to their children, that when we live this life for ourselves, we live a very lonely and unproductive life. But when we live and serve for others, we find that meaning and that purpose and our calling. All of you in this room today share that. Whether you realize it today or not, you share that. Whether we're 3 years old, 93 years old, what have you. That's how we and why we were designed the way we are. Regardless of your beliefs, spiritual or otherwise, it's in our nature, just like the redwood forest and the trees. Look at our animals. Look how even a herd of cattle will take care of their young. Anyone, trees, it's in our nature and it's how we're designed and it's the purpose we serve. And that's what Braveheart has been perfectly designed to do. And that's why it has the mission that it has. You know, it's so easy today and so cynical, especially with an election that can't come quick enough. And then God help us all for the next year. It's so easy to point fingers and to, use words like bureaucrats, government workers. I actually serve in a publicly elected position in the parish where I live, a school board of all things. And if every time my pockets were lined and filled, as they say on social media, I probably wouldn't be sitting here. I'd probably be sipping a drink in Tahiti or something. But anyway, I digress. Our public servants, the people who choose a career and a path to make our community and our state better and stronger, they should be celebrated. They should be applauded, not ridiculed and demeaned the way they are. Those who work in government, whether it's the IRS, teacher, or our wonderful friends here, the Department of Children and Family and Services. They make sure that children who have no relation, no connection to them have just a little semblance of normalcy. It's not the child's fault. The adults have failed the children. And if we don't come to terms with that reality, we as a society will continue to fail our children. And then we'll turn around and we'll say, and I know I need to wrap it up. We'll turn around and we'll say, well, look at those that just gets me. Look at those young people. Look at those teenagers all over social media. Look at these teenagers walking around, or these young adults, or these children. Look how they think. Look what they say. Look what they do. They didn't come out that way, did they? It's how we as a society have chosen to raise our future generations. All of us share in that responsibility. We have amazing, incredible young adults aging out of our foster care system. We have amazing young adults in high schools across this state doing incredible things. If you don't believe me, come to the Capitol Thursday for a youth legislative conference and see those young adults, 15, 16, 17 years old. They're doing incredible work. They have incredible minds and visions. We have to be that forest, that root system for them and for all of our children. So, as I went around the way to make a point, I come back to the work that the Department of Children and Family Services, their mission and their calling every single day. And I've always said this in this work, it is so unfair that we place so much responsibility and burden on them as a department when we don't always do our own little part. It goes back to that purpose. Find your purpose, why you were designed. Find your why, and you'll find your happiness. And let's hope in 4 years, because we haven't in at least 15, possibly 20 years, we haven't even mentioned children, families, and child welfare system in a gubernatorial debate in this state in at least 3 or 4 election cycles. Maybe when the now deceased Governor Blanco was running, maybe. I don't even remember it then. That's where we have to get back to. We want to solve the fundamental problems of our state. It's where it starts. That's where it starts for all of us. But all of that said, we're going to end this on a happy note. We have incredible groups like Braveheart Children doing phenomenal work, and we're restoring hope, and we're helping those children and those youth, and we need you to do it. There are envelopes on the table. There are always opportunities to come and wrap gifts and pack backpacks, right, Marcy? Marcy has an incredible fault. Her incredible fault is she will open up that warehouse any day, any time, and she will make herself available for any group. And she just does a phenomenal, incredible job of getting people there. So it's not always about money. Money's nice, but it won't solve the challenges we're facing. Get involved, give a little bit of your time, get a church group, some of you, the children in your family, what have you. Spend an hour, you can do incredible things. Just like today, you spent an hour with us for an incredible mission. One last person I'd like to thank, and that's the guy with this camera here, Jerry Mayer and Hometown Productions. He is doing all of this today for Braveheart and not collecting one single penny, all out of the kindness of his heart. Thank you, Jerry. We all want to serve. It's groups like Braveheart that gives us the how to. So go forward, enjoy your holidays, and figure out how and why you can get involved with Braveheart. Thank you all so much.
It's just been amazing. I tell people all the time that I have really no training in nonprofit, and I don't have children, so I don't know what to do with children. But doesn't God work in mysterious ways? He takes ordinary people and he does extraordinary things with those people.
Tell us a little bit about the time when a child is moved and how these backpacks support them.
Right, so their backpack program is really helpful to the children because a lot of times when our kids are coming in an emergency situation, their workers are often looking for placement. There's no time to go to the store. It's an emergency. So the backpacks provide the children with items that they need in that transition and something that they can hold on to and call theirs before they go into another unknown situation with a foster home or something like that.
We are hoping that by instilling hope to these children, that they will grow into adulthood as productive citizens within the community. You, as a volunteer or as a donator, can be a part of that by helping us distribute our backpacks and our life books.
Every organization that is a charity organization needs funds. Braveheart is no exception. In order to buy the school supplies, the backpacks, the memory books, and everything that we need the support of the public in order to do that. As it stands right now, we are wrapping thousands of Christmas presents to be distributed to foster kids.
We're looking at probably about 7,000 plus children across the state that are in foster care. And of course, we can't help all of them, but we did reach out this past year in about 1,000 backpacks, 1,000 life books. That's children coming into the program new.
It looks great. We're having a good turnout. I see a lot of friends and some new faces as well.